Hey everyone! Welcome back to your favorite pirate crew! Today we're going to talk about Law sacrificing himself for Luffy. If you'd like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. But pirates, before we continue with the video, I already have to ask that you subscribe to the channel. That way you can join our pirate crew, earn a devil fruit, or master your favorite hockey. It really would mean a lot to this division of the crew if you did leave that thumbs up in today's video so that we together could become Yonkos. Anyway, let's get on with the story. Law, as one of the characters who were closest to Luffy with the exception of the Mugiwaras, is truly beloved by much of the fandom. When talking about beloved characters, we certainly can't leave him out. Considering Oda's track record, when it comes to killing off characters, we generally laugh about it. After all, the author hardly ever opts for this possibility, always putting something in the middle to prevent them from dying in some sort of way. However, will this remain the same until the end? Could it be that by the end of One Piece, some characters like Law could end up dying? In today's video, we're going to be discussing this. There are many ways to shorten a person's lifespan. It could be through obvious means, such as putting yourself in harm's way, eating unhealthily, and poor lifestyle choices in general. Then there are the ways that people don't really think about. People do all sorts of physically stressful and mentally stressful things in their lives that can shorten their life expectancy. Then there are totally unusual ways of taking years off your life that can only happen in the works of fiction, like using a cursed artifact or forming a forbidden technique. This is where Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece comes into the picture. The sad thing is that Luffy, for how much youthful vitality he shows, may not have that long to live. It's not just about him constantly making enemies out of dangerous opponents or something. The boy has been through all kinds of physical exertion experiences that will probably affect him in the long run. Rubber pirate or not, Luffy's putting his body through way too much to expect a long. One of the first big things Luffy did to shorten his lifespan was second gear. The technique involved pumping blood through his body at an accelerated rate in order to increase speed and power. Rob Lucci was quick to point out the problem with this technique. Pumping blood through his heart and the rest of his circulatory system was a good way to destroy him. Even as a rubber man, Luffy was undoubtedly creating this kind of lasting damage to himself from the inside. What Lucci was describing in a real-life phenomenon. When your heart enlarges due to high pressure, it could lead to all kinds of fatal conditions, such as cardiomyopathy and cardiac hypertrophy, which can result in heart failure. Forcing blood through his body, Luffy was inadvertently stretching his heart muscles and making it harder to pump blood normally. The life-shortening side effect of Gear Second is made worse by how often Luffy relies on the technique. In occasion, short bursts, his rubber body should be able to keep up with the strain. However, the more he struggles and the more he uses it, the more likely he is to pave the way for his heart problems later in life. Another life-costing experience occurred while Luffy was in Impel Down. In order to save the Straw Hat Pirate from Principal Magellan's poison, Emperor Ivankov uses Akuma no Mi powers to alter the hormones in the boy's body to strengthen his immune system. The process was excruciating, lasted hours, and ultimately took about 10 years of Luffy's life expectancy. He only survived the ordeal because of his indomitable will to live. They also imply that Luffy's third and fourth gears place a similar tax on his life, although this is not explicitly stated in the narrative. Tevin believed that Luffy would die young like his idol Goldie Roger. To this possibility, many people created various theories about this. One mentioned that Roger died at age 53, so even if Luffy dies young, fans will still have plenty of him in the story still. Along those same lines, some believe that Luffy's early death will be saved for a series finale, an epilogue, or will not appear in the story at all. Some have predicted that Trafalgar Law will use his powers of his Opi fruit to perform the perpetual surgery of youth on Luffy to save his life. One commentator even imagined the surgery making Luffy the immortal sun god, sailing the seas forever, always seeking new adventures and new tyrants to stop on an eternal quest to prevent another world government from rising again. This is loosely based on the rumor of Nika, the sun god mentioned by Who's Who. If that turned out to be true, it would have been saved for the end of the series, once all the central conflicts of One Piece were resolved. Otherwise, all the tension in the story could just be removed by making the protagonist immortal. During or after the series, Luffy's early death seems almost guaranteed. However, this should not be seen as such a bad thing. Luffy has had enough experiences to last several lifetimes, and he still has much more ahead of him. He has not yet found One Piece. If he died having lived his life so short and sweet, he should have no regrets when he passes away. However, the theory involving Luffy's possible death and, as a consequence, Law's sacrifice in the process to save him is quite popular. During the Wano arc, one of the possibilities for what would happen to Luffy right after using Gear 5 for the first time was just that. While an immediate death is highly unlikely for a number of reasons, it is possible that a continued use of Gear 5 could lead to a potential loss in his lifespan. It's already been confirmed in relation to its other forms, previously in One Piece. One of the latest and greatest One Piece theories circulating seems to suggest that Luffy's lifespan is being shortened by Gear 5. Context clues from his previous forms, as well as certain moments during Gear 5's use, serve as key evidence for this claim. Although never explicitly stated or confirmed, Gear 4th also appears to have a similar effect. Luffy's body produces an incredible amount of steam when he uses the power. The strain of inflating his muscles and then constricting them with haki to produce elastic force is most likely harmful to his body. The cooldown effect of Gear 4th, though later mitigated, is similar to that of Gear 2nd, in that Luffy is totally drained, unable to move or use haki for 10 minutes after the form expires. While this is speculative and unconfirmed, the similarities cannot be ignored. Another major piece of evidence supporting the theory is Luffy's use of Gear 5 so far. In Chapter 1045, we see Gear 5 temporarily deactivated, leaving Luffy completely drained and seemingly aging decades and seconds. It is entirely possible that this could be a joke by Oda, given the cartoonish nature of Gear 5's powers and abilities. However, it is also possible that this is a small hint of the damages that Gear 5 inflict on his body. Luffy commanding his heart to beat faster and harder, similar to the stress Gear 2nd puts on his heart, can be interpreted as foreshadowing. While unfortunate, it is entirely possible that Luffy could be severely damaging his body with his latest power-up from Gear 5th. Signs are certainly there to foreshadow such a situation, even if some of them may be Oda's jokes and in-jokes. The mention of Luffy's heart seems too coincidental. The expectation was that something of the sort would be said by Chopper about Luffy and Zoro at the end of Wano, but that didn't happen. However, there is still the possibility that something like this will be revealed in the future. Law facing Blackbeard now, and there being a possibility of him going through something quite difficult in the future, such as being kidnapped just as several of Luffy's other companions have been. It's possible that we could have a fight on our hands between these two sooner than we expected. With that, we see Gear 5 in action again, with Luffy facing Teach, and thus going through a really complicated fight. This could entail the revelations regarding the consequences of using the transformation for so long, or how to activate it. With that, the theory of Law's sacrifice for Luffy to make him immortal could come true, with him dying in the process. Even if the captain didn't want to see him make such a decision, considering he would be unconscious, there would be nothing to be done. Law has a good heart and would certainly sacrifice himself for his friend's sake, although the end of the story will not be pleasant for him at all. But what do we know? And what do you think? Would you like to see Luffy become immortal? Would Oda have the courage to kill Law in the story? Leave your opinion about the theory in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And thank you for all those that actually share them. We read those too. That's it, Straw Hat Pirate. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for a future video, don't forget to comment below, because I really like reading them, and I'll be reading them all, as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell, so you don't miss out on any content from your pirate crew!